For small island states, rising sea levels and erosion caused by climate change pose an existential threat. The Maldives, a country of nearly 200 inhabited islands dotting the Indian Ocean, is one such country. Current estimates predict that the Maldives, which has an average elevation of 1.5 meters above sea level, could be fully submerged by the end of the century. The government of the Maldives has spearheaded a unique initiative around an artificial island created near the capital city of Malé. Residents have been encouraged to migrate to this new island to ease congestion in the country's population centers. This also has the added benefit of protecting residents from rising sea levels. To learn more about this new type of migration, SPF joined the Maldives National University and partners for a joint research project analyzing the motivations for people moving to this new island. To learn more about the results of this research, we spoke with Dr. Aishath Shehenaz Adam, Vice Chancellor of the Maldives National University, who began our conversation by introducing the Maldives.
The Maldives is an island nation with about 1,190 islands, and people live on less than 200 islands, and the rest are uninhabited. We have a population of about 500,000, of which locals are about 400,000, and the rest are expatriates. Our islands are very small and low-lying, and it's about average elevation is about 1.5 meters above the sea level.
You mentioned the number 1.5 meters above sea level, so I think that makes the Maldives one of the lowest lying, if not the lowest lying.
The lowest lying, I think, yeah.
So that also puts it at the forefront of this challenge we're facing now as we see the effects of climate change and the impact that's having on the ocean. Can you just walk us through what exactly is happening in the Maldives right now?
We can see the changes due to climate change. Earlier, our average temperature was between 28 to 30 throughout the year. But now we have very high temperatures going up to 34, 35 degrees as well. So we can see the effects of climate change, and then we can see erosion as well happening in the islands.
What kind of changes have there been, or what is predicted to happen in terms of ocean level?
It has been predicted that the whole country can go underwater in 50 to 100 years if we don't act on it now. So it's imperative that we act on it now and reduce carbon emission. And Maldives alone, we can't do it because our carbon emission rate will be very negligible compared to the world. As a global community, we have to work on this.
In addition to those mitigation strategies, the Maldives is also taking a very interesting approach by using migration as a kind of adaptive strategy. Could you talk about how that is happening in the Maldives right now?
We have an artificial island called Malé. We are developing so that people from smaller islands can migrate. The capital, Malé, it's about 2.4 square kilometers. So we have 1/3 of the population living there. So it is really congested. To curb that and to mitigate that, the government decided to reclaim an artificial island near Malé so that that will be eased. I think it was in 2004 that people started living there, and since then we have reclaimed more land, and then more people have migrated from the atolls as well. But still it's not sufficient because still Malé is congested. The people from Malé, most of the time, they don't move to Malé earlier, but now I think people have started moving because there is a bridge as well to travel from Malé to Malé. Earlier they have to go by ferry. So maybe that's also one of the reasons. And then now Malé is quite developed in terms of infrastructure and then other services.
I'm hoping to talk about the joint research that has been conducted this time. What was its main purpose and who was involved?
We had a meeting with Global Infrastructure Fund Research Foundation a couple of years back during, I think, COVID time. They started doing a research in Malé. So we met them and they expressed interest to conduct a joint research. And then later on, Sasakawa Foundation also joined. We had a meeting in Malé, the 3 groups, and then we decided that we should jointly conduct this research to find out what are the motivations for migrating to this artificial island, Malé. And then we can look into more diverse areas as well. For example, this time we looked at the northern part and the southern part as well of Maldives. So perspective was more broad.
What were some of the main findings that came out of this research, or if there were anything that struck you specifically about the data that was collected?
There were some differences between the way people perceive about climate change and global warming as well. So there was a major difference between the perceptions from the people of north and the people from south. And also our people in most of the island, even though we have a small population of maybe say 100 or 200 people, they don't want to migrate, some of them, because they have a sense of belonging, sense of identity to the island. So they just want to stay there. But the other islands, especially in the south, from the data, it shows that they are very keen to move, and if there are more opportunities, they are keen to move to Malé as well.
Was there also any overarching results that you found in terms of people's responses to moving to the new island and what their experience was? Were there any trends that you saw in the data?
Mostly they are saying the quality of education is better in the greater Malé region, so that's why they want to move. And then also healthcare is better, and so that's why most of them they want to move. But not from the study, but we see this trend. Even if they move to this island, they tend to keep to themselves. So example, if a group from one island migrate, they try to keep to themselves instead of like mingling with other people from the islands. So maybe in time this will improve. And in a study that we did earlier on non-communicable diseases, we found that people living in Malé region, they are more healthy in that aspect. But from that we don't know their psychological or social well-being. So that is an area we have to conduct research on as well.
This being such an early case of this kind of adaptive strategy through migration, there's been discussions about whether the lessons learned, so for example from this joint research as well as other research that you've been doing based on the experience, can be applied in other countries as well who may be facing similar challenges down the road. With that in mind, I wonder if you could talk a bit about what you see as the big successes that have come out of this strategy, as well as some of the areas that require a bit more work.
The big successes are that because of the geographical challenge, we have to have like a school on each island. Even if there are 7 students, we need to have school and then provide teachers as well. So we are doing it even though it's very costly. And then even healthcare facilities. On each atoll we have a big regional hospital, but then we need to have something on each island as well, even a smaller clinic or hospital. In terms of electricity, water, waste management. So for each island we have to cater separately, right? But when they migrate to this big island, everything is catered for, water, electricity, healthcare, education. So I think in terms of that, it is very advantageous to migrate. Then the government also can look after the people better when they are in the same place.
What are some of the challenges that have been encountered or that need to be dealt with in terms of after that migration, or using that as a strategy?
After migration, when there are more people living on one island, there are some, in terms of crime also, that will increase. And the other challenges like psychological and social challenges, especially for the elderly people. And even not so elderly, when you are living on an island, you are helping each other, the neighbors. They will be like 5 seconds away helping you. So those type of things, they will be missing when they migrate. Those are some of the challenges we have to address, I think.
What are the future plans for this research? What's coming up next?
We have discussed about looking into the other aspects as well, socio-cultural aspects of migration, and then do more qualitative aspects of the research as well, interviewing people who have migrated, and from the academia as well, the different perspectives of this from experts. So we will be doing a more in-depth study.
because you are here in Japan right now, and this research was also conducted as joint research collaboration between Maldives and Japan. So I just wanted to see what your thoughts on, or how you see the connection between those two countries.
Maldives and Japan, we had very good relations since the beginning of our diplomatic relations. And Japan has been one of the biggest donors who has been giving assistance to the Maldives since the beginning. And they have built our schools. And even in terms of climate change, Malé, the capital, we have a seawall built around by Japanese government. So that helped during tsunami as well. Malé was not badly affected by tsunami, so the seawall protected. Even now we are getting assistance from the Japanese government. So I would say we've had a very good relationship with Japan and even with Japanese people.
You bring up this construction of a seawall, which I think Japan is very much involved in, for example, disaster preparedness and disaster response, and we're also dealing now with climate change. I wonder what you would want to see in terms of collaboration between the two countries going forward.
Going forward, I would also like to see more of this climate change mitigation to Japan to assist in terms of not only financially but technically as well to mitigate climate change aspects in the Maldives. That is one thing I would like to see. In terms of Japan and Maldives relationship, I think there are other areas as well that we can see more research opportunities and then more educational opportunities as well.
That was our conversation with Dr. Aishath Shehenaz Adam, Vice Chancellor of the Maldives National University. We have new episodes coming soon, so be sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.